This is a Parasound A23 Plus amplifier with a power-up issue. I've already done a significant amount of troubleshooting, so for now I'll show you the symptom, I'll show you which component I suspect, I'll remove and test that component. If it does indeed test bad, I'll replace it along with a few key other components. I'll put it all back together and we'll see if the issue is resolved. At the very end, I'll go over a bit of the circuit as well as some of my troubleshooting steps. I'll power it up and let's listen and watch. Immediately we can hear one or more of the power supply relays engage, but the speaker protection relays never engage, and we also don't see any illumination from these two channel LEDs. I believe these should be either white or blue if the channels are healthy, or red if they're not, but we get nothing at all. This is a pretty amp, isn't it? Red transformer, black PCB, everything is clean and tight. I'm very much looking forward to working on this. My suspect is right here. This is a 12-volt relay, specifically RY3 in the power supply section. Unfortunately, there's no removable service panel on the bottom of this unit, so everything has to come out from the top. I'm not sure how to do that yet, but I'll figure it out. RY3 has been removed. It's a 12-volt double pole, double throw from Panasonic. Before I test this, let's see how a known good relay should perform. That's what I have here. When the relay is de-energized, we should have one set of contacts shorted and the other open. When I apply 12 volts to the coil, these conditions should reverse. So let's watch that happen. You'll hear the click as I apply 12 volts. Just like that. This is RY3. We have the same starting conditions. I'll apply 12 volts to the coil now. We can hear it engage. One set of contacts does flip from short to open, but the other never flips from open to short. We do indeed have a bad relay. I'll check the other side for completeness. The other side shows the same fault. This relay is no bueno. While I'm at it, I'm also going to replace RY4 and RY5. They're the exact same part number and age as RY3, and direct replacements are still available. They're only a few dollars, so I might as well. I'm also going to replace all 8 of these bulk capacitors. These are 6800 microfarad at 80 volts, and they're all bulged to a certain extent. All of the old components have been removed, and the new components have arrived. Here are the OEM part numbers. Let's replace these relays and bulged caps. It's all back together again. I have the lights dimmed down low. Here we go. I certainly heard at least one more relay engage this time, and we have 2 blue LEDs in the front. That's a good sign. It seems to have powered up properly this time. Let's see if it works. I'll start with a simple signal clarity test. I have a 2 kHz sine wave at each input. Take a look at these traces on the scope as I increase the amplitude. Yeah, they look great. No problem there. Next, I'll check the frequency response with a square wave. Those look great too. And finally, I'll verify the power output. This amp is rated for 160 watts into 8 ohms. That's about 100 volts peak to peak. At 20 volts per division on the scope, that's going to be 5 divisions. That's what we're looking for. Here we go. That's 2 divisions, or 40 volts peak to peak. That's 4 divisions, or 80 volts peak to peak. That's about 5 divisions right there. And there's clipping right there. So yeah, we're at least at 160 watts. Here's a block diagram showing the relevant sections of the circuit. First, we'll go over the proper power-up sequence, what this should look like when you turn it on. And then we'll go over what I actually saw and how that led me to relay RY3. We'll start with our 120 volts AC in up here. Once the rear power switch is turned on, it has 2 paths. We'll go over this second path in a minute. First, it'll hit this standby transformer, which should produce 20 volts of AC. That'll be rectified, which should produce something like 27 volts of DC. This then has 2 paths. First, it'll energize relay RY5. And second, as soon as that front switch is turned on, it'll energize relay RY3. Now let's come back to our second AC path. First, if RY4 was energized, it will travel through these contacts, but it's not yet. So it'll travel through this inrush current limiter. It'll then travel through the contacts of RY3, contacts of RY5, and finally it should energize the main transformer. Once this is energized, it will produce 3 voltages, 13, 42, and 42. The 13 volts AC will be rectified, which should produce something like 17 volts of DC. And this will energize relay RY4. Now that RY4 is energized, we can bypass this inrush current limiter, travel through the contacts of RY4, 3, and 5 for sustained power. But what did I see and measure? When I turned the rear switch on, I heard the audible click. That would have been relay RY5 being energized. When I turned the front switch on, I heard another audible click, which would have been relay RY3 being energized. Not only that, but I did measure voltage at both coils, indicating this entire section of the circuit was working properly. From there, I looked for DC voltage at the coil of relay RY4, so here, and saw nothing. I then measured the input to this bridge rectifier, looking for something like 13 volts AC, and saw nothing there as well. So from there, I went to the main transformer. I looked for these 13 volts, 42 volts, and 42 volts directly off the secondary of the main transformer and saw absolutely nothing. I then measured the input to the transformer right here, saw nothing. I then measured the input to relay RY5 here and saw nothing. And finally, when I measured the input to relay RY3 right here, I did see 120 volts of AC, which led me to believe that one or both of the contacts of RY3 were bad. That'll be it for this Parasound A23 Plus. Thanks for watching.